So many of you will have seen this already. It's the matchstick trick. We're in the middle of a world health crisis with what people call the coronavirus, COVID-19. It hardly needs to be said, the COVID-19 virus is spreading across the world. Work is collapsing, the economy is collapsing. This is a really, really big crisis. It's something we can't fail to take seriously. And there's a really interesting way of explaining how we can self-isolate. Let me just explain very quickly. Here, I have a box of matches, and you'll notice that in the middle, there is a match that is isolated. Okay? Well, let's see what happens when we set fire to one of the matches. Watch out for the glare. And here. And we see the fire spreading. And there we see that the fire has stopped. Okay, so what does this tell us about the crisis of COVID-19? Well, it tells us that self-isolation can actually make a massive difference. All of these matches on this side have been saved. But it also tells us something very important about education and about the workplace. It tells us that that match that was isolated meant that the entire chain was broken. Isolation comes in many forms. Alienation comes in many forms. Think about all those times that people have been asked to read aloud in class, or all that homework that people have to do when they have to read. This is isolation. This is alienation. Think about all those tasks that people are asked to do that they can't do because their brains aren't wired like that, and everyone else can do it, and so this kid is left aside. Think about all the kind of admin tasks you've got to do at work. This is isolating. This is alienating. When we talk about isolation, when we talk about alienation, we talk about this as much as anything else. We don't educate and we don't work in bubbles. We educate and we work and we learn and we achieve as a group. We learn democratically. We learn socially. And this is the great lesson of this matchstick trick, if you like. Yeah, great. It shows us that self-isolation can save lives, but it also shows us that isolating any member of a team can actually have huge consequences. If one person doesn't flourish, no one flourishes. And that's a lesson we should take home with us, especially during this crisis.